As he falls into position behind you, Duncan's drawer drops open. Raymond Black steps forward, an expression of grim determination on his face. "Oh shit, she's real." He does his best to stand his ground as Qian turns to face him. His voice is full of awe and terror. "I did this. I brought this creature here." He speaks in the grim tone of a man on his way to the gallows. His complexion has gone grey as ash. "My fault. My responsibility." The Queen with 1,000 teeth cackles with glee. "It has returned to us, the tunnel builder, the architect of my ascendancy." Ascendancy. The creature leans in toward Raymond, its spidery fingers weaving hypnotically. The thing's robes billow like the bell of a jellyfish, pulsing organically with the rhythm of a heartbeat. "You will have a special place in our court, Builder. You will stand by our side, exalted for all time, a living token of our unending rule and an undying symbol of the folly of man." I have been a fool, yes. His hands clench into fists, so tight that his knuckles go white. The skin on his face is flushed with the effort of fighting through the stammer, jumbling his words. "A great fool, but I will not be your slave. I will stop you." The Queen with 1,000 teeth leans forward, her movements full of alien grace. The gaping crescent of her mouth parts into a ghastly smile, and you can see row upon row of fangs. They run down her throat in overlapping layers, a bristling forest of glistening sharpened enamel. "I earned an audience with you, Queen. This man did not." She steeples her fingers. Their hardened tips click together one against one another, with a sound like grinding teeth. "You are bold, Meat, but you are also correct. We do not earn our promises, and you have earned some modicum of respect." Qian turns her full attention back to you, and the smile widens. You can feel it deep in your gut. It tunnels into you like a lamprey, leaves you feeling empty and cold. "In truth, you amuse us. Your persistence in the face of inevitable is a pleasure to behold, and so we have decided to grant you a rare honor. We offer you a deal." "Go on then, I'm listening." "Our terms are simple. We want you to leave the chattel here to their fates. Forget about them. Acknowledge that they are ours, and then think on them no more. Leave the walled city now and do not return, except that it is our domain now and forever. Forevermore. In exchange we will grant you 14 years of good fortune, your every wish fulfilled, your every desire granted, a charmed life from the moment you leave to the day our deal elapses." "You can do this?" "With a wave of our hand. We have swum the waters of fortune since the beginning of time. It is a trivial matter for us to divert them. So, will you accept the offer? Will you take the deal?" "No, but I have not yet. I have questions for you first." "You may ask, but do not try our patience." "What do you... if you're as powerful as you... Oh, I've done some research on your kind. There are other Yama Kings, aren't there?" "Thousands, each unique in all the multiverse, each an inimitable form of life. You are one of many, Meat, interchangeable with others of your kind. We and our brethren are solitary, sovereign beings, demigods among beasts of the field." Okay, let's go with what do you intend to do with the people of the walled city. You can't be planning to enslave them all. "What any queen would do. We intend to rule them. Some will be pressed into service, others will be livestock. Most will live out their lives as if nothing will change." Okay, why don't I believe you? "What you believe is not our concern, but know that our word is sacrosanct. We do not lie, Meat. Not ever." The Yama King's arms weave organically, tracing mesmerizing patterns in the air. They glisten with thin, watery saliva. Strands of the fluid crisscross and entangle one another before spattering to the concrete floor. "It is within our interest to leave most of their meat in the walled city alive and unmolested. They must serve as breeding stock to better ensure our continuing prosperity. The population of the walled city must increase. We will see this happen. Make it happen." What about the spirits that serve you?" "Our servitors are not spirits, Meat, not in the way you think. They are the cells of our body, particles of our own divine being, manifested in flesh to serve us." "So they're all what, manifestations generated by the same organism?" "Yes." "If you're as powerful as you say you are, why are you offering this deal?" "Because we want to see what you will do. The ultimate reward dangles above your head. You can pluck it like a peach if you wish. We are curious to see if you will. I don't think that's it at all. I think you're hurt. I hurt you the last time we fought, and you're stalling while you regain strength. That might be true. Do you wish to test your theory, Meat? Or will you accept our generous offer and enjoy every luxury of life for over a decade to come? Make your choice. Make it now. No, but I have a counter-proposal for you. Isabel's brow furrows. She looks surprised and uneasy. Her grip on her mini-launcher tightens. A counter-proposal, you say? How amusing. Out with it, Meat. Tell us what you would have with it. You're going to return to the place you came from. You're going to close the door behind you. And tell us, slave thing, why would we do such a thing? What do you have to offer? Let's see. Let's go with your life. I know how to tear open the tunnel that connects our two worlds. You would destroy yourself, Meat. Condemn every living soul in this city to torment unending. Ranneko. Your ultimatum is meaningless, Meat. Opening the tunnel would not destroy us. It would not even hurt us. You will take our offer or you will die. I know that opening the tunnel wouldn't hurt you, Queen, but I also know it would let the other Yama Kings through. The Yama King doesn't respond, not audibly, but the miasma that fills the air seems to thicken. It grabs you by the guts and twists. Isabel grinds her teeth. It's got her too. Her eyes flash daggers at you. Why the hell would we want to do that? Because she's been keeping them out. She wants the walled city for herself. And we will have it! This place is ours. Leave now or be destroyed. If it were that easy, you'd have done it already. Qian stands statue still, looming over you. Like a colossus, saliva drools down from the ridges and folds of her body. The waves of hate rolling off her are almost palpable. I've heard what you Yama Kings do to one another when you're angry. The story of the Nameless King. I'm betting there's some truth to it. You would be condemning yourself to an eternity of torment. My brethren would not permit you to leave this place alive. You're going to destroy me anyway, right? So what do I have to lose? He's right. From our perspective, there isn't much difference between one demon god ruling the walled city and 100. The place is doomed either way. I believe that I have made a decision. If he doesn't go through with this, I will. There's steel in his voice, the kind you haven't heard since the old days, before prison, before you left home. Go back to where you came from, creature. Do this, or I will choke on the machine, and you can die with us. There is a long pause. Qian cocks her head, coldly evaluating you. A low rumble escapes from her throat. And what of our court, the slave things that have already been taken into our service? We must be allowed to keep them. If we are to retreat into the tunnel, they must come as well. You are entitled to nothing. By asking, you've already conceded defeat. I know your laws, Queen, and I will hold you to them. A low rumbling fills the chamber. Qian's hideous face contorts into a mask of rage, but she seems incapable of moving to harm you. The servitor creatures that surround her kneel in acquiescence. They look confused and frightened. How do you know? The music in her voice has gone flat. You watch the muscles of her throat bulge, but the sound barely escapes her. You'll spend the rest of eternity wondering. Slowly, gratingly, the queen with 1,000 teeth bows her head. Her jaw is clenched and the breath comes in ragged gasps. We shall go back into the tunnel as agreed. We will leave the slave things behind. We are bound to obey. Holy shit, Ranneko, it worked! Moving against her will, Qian traces an ornate sigil into the air. It hangs there for a moment, shimmering. Then the sky tears open.
Remember the day I took you and Duncan off the streets? I told you that the past is just a story. That if you can just accept that, your past loses all power over you. But we do what we need to do, to live with it, to live with ourselves.
Only the 3 compulsory companions are in the animatic, of course. Goodbye.
Either way, it's over now. I have you to thank for that.
So there we go. The best ending. So there are 3 possible endings. The one most people get, and the one that is actually not... Like, this one requires you to talk to everyone and to pick the right dialogue options, right? The other ending that's possible, the one that I got the first time, is Raymond goes with her and is tortured for all eternity, but the door is closed. Or you can totally make that deal and, condemn Kowloon Walled City to be under the control of a demonic spirit that will, harvest people and do all sorts of nasty stuff. But you'll be lucky for 14 years, so, win some, lose some. Oddly enough, I've never played a character that's willing to do that. Also, if you do that, then you will be forced to fight a few of your companions, because they're not too happy with that idea. You lead Raymond out of the Prosperity Chamber and are instantly caught up in a wave of refugees fleeing for their lives. Struggling through the panicked wave of humanity, you're able to retrace your steps and eventually reach Heoi. Although the typhoon has passed, the scene is wet and chaotic. The newly homeless crowd the streets, dazedly wandering, searching for missing loved ones and nursing injuries. Relief workers are already on the scene, providing blankets and medical aid. Rescue personnel carry the stunned and wounded to safety. The entire area has been cordoned off by the HKPF, while knight-errant officers and a military peacekeeping force attempt to maintain order. You emerge from Kowloon Walled City to bustling clusters of activity, refugees huddling together, staring back at their lost homes, government troops deploying from armoured personnel carriers, news vans setting up remote camera feeds while reporters scramble to find the right angle for their broadcasts. The air is electric with the threat of potential violence as panicked peacekeepers eye the growing crowds of evacuating poor. This place is hot. Cops are swarming all over the place now. APB is still out on us. Yeah, let's head to the boat, sneaky-like. Sounds good. It's going to take a year's worth of shouts to wash that experience off of me. Isabel lifts her nose toward a reporter interviewing someone from inside the walled city. Looks like we get to see a man on the street interview on our way. Press already have the hooks in someone, hoping for a soundbite. The reporter wears a look of earnest concern like a cheap deodorant. And when is it that you started running? Yeah, it was bad in there, shooting, screaming. I was terrified. And what caused this, sir? Why are people flooding out of the walled city, injured and disoriented? It's like everyone is saying. Some sort of chemical leap. A drug lab exploded or something. Caused mass hallucinations. There you have it, Sonny. A third report of mass hallucination and violence caused by an explosion in an illegal drug lab. While reports remain sketchy, it appears street crime is again on the rise. As you can see, it's still turmoil and confusion here as police and executive council peacekeepers respond to the emergency situation, attempting to maintain order. But in all this chaos, in the maze of poverty that is Kowloon Walled City, we may never know what really happened in there. Back to you in the studio, Sonny. The light on the news camera goes off and the reporter drops his facade. He ignores the bedraggled man beside him and begins packing up his equipment. After a moment, he sees you looking at him and turns to you with a scowl. What are you looking at? You know that guy was regurgitating a line of corp bullshit, don't you? Everyone's regurgitating a line of corp crap, pal. They may not know it, but they are. Everything you see, everything you've been taught, every official you elect, all bought and paid for by the people pulling the strings. Yeah, well, no one's telling me what to think. No, of course not, pal. You're different. The reporter finishes packing up and stands up straight, brushing the wet grit of the street off of his hands. As he does so, his eyes narrow. His gaze moves over your crew, flicking from face to face, eventually landing on you. Looks like you just came from inside. So, tell me, what did you really see in there? A mess Josephine saying never cleaned up. Why am I not surprised? No one even remembers that she built this hole in the first place. Not that it mattered, just saying holds this town by the balls. Wouldn't surprise me if she was running some sort of test in the Walled City. It's like their little petri dish. Wouldn't surprise me if the whole thing blew up in her face because of low safety standards either. They test food additives, body mods, pharmaceuticals, whatever some junior exec can dream up. Nothing surprises me anymore. We can change that. Good luck. You look like just the guy to do it. Maybe I could make it worth your while to help. I think it's more worth my while to keep a job. Start babbling about the government or court cover-ups on camera and I'm finished here. And I know plenty of guys who got the strength of the righteous and then mysteriously disappeared. He picks up his gear and turns to go. Everyone on this council just knows my news service is a mouthpiece for the exec council. Hell, if you look closely enough, you'll probably find it's owned by a member of that council. People buy what we feed them because the world's changing and it's scary. They feel small, they need scapegoats to blame and authority figures to tell them what to think. My news network gives them that. And there's a prime example of authority figure here. Jo Tsang, rising star on the executive council. Just look at her spinning this to her own ends, talking about the humanitarian relief effort she's mounting. You know? Go ahead, take your comm. Your comm chips, it's kindly Cheng. Go ahead, take your comm. I'm gonna go before this scene turns into some kind of riot. It usually does. Hello, Auntie. Don't hello, Auntie me. I lost contact with the soldiers I sent into Walled City with you, and now these Sang assholes and Gov troops are all over the place. Get over here and tell me what happened. What about the cops? There's still an APB out on us. Some mysterious benefactor lifted the APB on you. You can hear a suck on a little black cigar. We'll talk more when you get here. Comm clicks off. Isabel tugs at your arm. Her eyelids are half-mast. I want to sleep. For a year. I'm taking Raymond to the Kraken Ryan. I think he could use some sack time. We'll see you there. You better go talk to Auntie, Ranneko. The Trio displays a live feed from the network's newsroom. It's a standard split-screen talking head back and forth between a perky newscaster and a stately woman of indeterminate old age. The animated label under the older woman reads Executive Council Member Josephine Tsang. If you're just joining us, we're talking live with Councilwoman Tsang from her office in Prosperity Tower. Councilwoman, again, thank you for being here to help us make sense of conflicting reports we're getting out of Kowloon Walled City. Thank you, Sonny. I only wish that we were speaking in happier times. Of course, madam. This is indeed a stressful day for citizens of the Walled City, but who knows? For one of them, it might be their lucky day. Stay tuned, because we're going to cut away shortly to this week's Gigaball drawing, where some lucky winner could walk away with almost 1 trillion nuyen. The newscaster turns her focus back to her guest, with a look of practiced concern back on her face. Now, madam, you're saying this sort of situation is inevitable when masses of underprivileged children are raised in a world without hope. Exactly, Sonny. Without hope, these children are left to create their own opportunities the only way they know how, by turning to crime. They're often brought up by single-parent households without strong guidance to put them on the right path. They are surrounded by thugs and criminals eager to put them to work in all manner of unsavory activities. And it's events such as this one that call our attention to the plight of these poor, poor children. This is why today I call on my Executive Council colleagues to join with me in support of a new project, Operation Hope. Under the auspices of this program, we'll pull these children out of poverty and place them in loving, stable homes while their parents are rehabilitated, re-educated, and reinvigorated with a new sense of purpose. Oh my god, you fucking monsters. Gonna pull a goddamn stolen generation on these people? Wow. That sounds like a tremendous... It is, Sonny, and it'll cost billions of nuyen to support such a mammoth effort. But Sang Mechanical Services is ready to lead the way through a new charitable foundation, Sang for Hope. It's time for us to give back to the community and... Madam Councilwoman, I need to cut you off there. As always, you're doing amazing work for the people of Hong Kong. But it's time for Gigaball. Of course. Once again, thank you so much for joining us and offering your perspective. We've been speaking with Josephine Tsang, entrepreneur, philanthropist, and frontrunner to be next chair of the executive committee. That, oh my god, that is so terrible. Alright, let's check how Law went, and then we'll talk to Kindly Cheng. Law stands amidst the typhoon-drenched aftermath of his store. It looks like he hasn't moved all night. Display cases are partly full of water, ragged holes gape in the tops, drenching the crates and boxes beneath them. Hi, you, Ranneko. Sup? Is your store okay? Oh, well, a lot of this stuff is in bins or waterproof anyway. It's a full-on mess and a bunch of parts are probably wasted, but it'll be okay. Don't know why this is in the, normal description-y thing. How's Raquel treating you? I kinda like her. Ambrose is gonna teach me how to shoot. He says I can't really use her with a robot arm. He can't really use her with a robot arm. So someone's gotta represent geeks with guns around here. I always thought he was a washed-up windbag, but he's a pretty badass dude once you get to know him. You look like bird shit. What happened? What do you think happened? I haven't moved since you last saw me, except to pee over the side. This is my barge, and that's my boat. Their names are Kilgore and the Monkey King. I ain't leaving them for some storm... I ain't leaving them for some storm so a bunch of crazy people from the Walled City can strip them clean. He stares forlornly around the half-ruined ship, then suddenly breaks into a huge giddy grin. That ship was awesome! Wow, yo! Rain's so thick you could hardly see the dock. It totally shut down the Wi-Fi. It was like the Stone Age. Maximum law 1, Typhoon Usagi 0. Boom! You are one crazy cat. No way, crazy means what you're doing is nuts. What I do is awesome. Well, I guess it's time to put this back together. See you later, Ranneko. Watch your back and shoot straight and all. His eyes fall on your PDA. He pulls himself up with an authoritative bearing. You're still using that piece of crap? That thing uses Scarab chips, but the Ranneko Alpha X02 is way better. Got a PCMA2 motherboard, which is a box of wet noodles. Same old maximum law. See you around. I kinda wish I could do that, but I don't have the karma. Hey, I'm not done telling you! Law's shrill voice slowly blends into the sounds of the docks, the patter of rain falling on the tops, the sizzle of cooking, the creak of old wood, and rapid music of metahuman voices. Beneath it all, the eternal roar and mesmerizing electric hum of Hong Kong. I could also check on Ambrose. I'm doing this because I'm pretty sure I won't get to do it after going and chatting with Kindly Chang. Hopefully, this doesn't get me into deep shit with her. Because it is a little disrespectful. Hey, Ambrose, how's it going? Ambrose looks exhausted. He slouches like a sack of rice in his chair, grey bags under his eyes despite his bedraggled appearance. Robot arms whiz around the clinic, reassembling it from its stint as a refugee bunker. Ranneko, boy, it's good to see you. That was nuts. You see the news reports? Meth factory cyanide gas spill in the walled city causes hysteria? What a crock. I don't know what that was, but it was not that. I'll tell you what that was. It was some dodgy, crazy-ass shit. Do you really want to know? You know what it was, don't you? Yeah, I do. Tell me about it later. I gotta take care of the neighborhood right now. It's a mess around here. But once things are back settled, come around again. Drinks are on me, storytelling's on you. I make a habit of knowing nothing about drifter runners to move through, but in this case, I bet you got one hell of a tale to tell. Word is, you worked off your favors to Kindly. Nice job. It's gotta be an all-time speed record. So you gonna stick around? Smile silently, leave. Nice. Nice. Okay. That was cool. I think we should, go and actually talk to Kindly. Don't think I really want to... no. Actually, Crafty. Crafty, then Kindly, then we're done. And next time, we will do the post-campaign DLC. Ooh, Jin, too. Jin, Gin, one of them. Hey, Crafty. Nothing. Literally nothing. She's just not gonna say a thing. That is an interesting thing. You can't say a thing to her either. That seems like a bug. You hear the laughter before you reach the podium. The three men, as usual, are engrossed in the game before them. You can see the tall figure of Lao studying the board and Shu laughing as Gin points in his corner. The only tension in the air is between Shu and Gin, mostly Gin. But despite their ongoing rivalry, they both seem relaxed, carefree, like the weight of a great burden has finally disappeared, allowing them to savor the thing that makes them happy. This game isn't over yet, you old fart. Just you watch. I'll make a comeback so beautiful it'll make you weep. Yeah, so you will. Even a fool could see he's got you dead to rights. At once, the men shift their attention to you. An array of emotions pass through them, from Gin's eye rolls to Lao's stalwart nod. Shu clasps his hand together, cheeks flooding with red. Ah, Ranneko, I've got the urge to hug you, but I doubt these old bones could withstand your embrace. So good of you to visit us old men again. Had any dreams lately? I have. It was terrible, even worse than before. I was standing here. The sun was beginning to set. It was red like blood, and cast a rippling red reflection off of the water. I became lost in the reflection, as if all my senses left me, and I was suddenly filled with a sense of foreboding. I broke through the spell and turned back to the game, and Gin had won! God damn it, you badger. You really had me going there. I thought we were done with those accursed dreams. Had me going, too. See, you upset Ranneko. I believe that's the first time you ever called our friend by his name, Gin. Don't tell me you're growing fond of him. I said nothing of the sort. You're just an old and deaf. Misheard me, that's all. The old man blushes, a strange look for him. He seems to realize his reaction and coughs to cover it up, but the flush lingers. Ah, of course, of course. Then I take it you haven't had any more dreams. If by dreams you mean exquisite visions of buxom geriatric women, then absolutely. But beyond that, no. Only nightmare I've had recently was about my hair falling out. And that's already happening. Gin scowls at you, then turns his head toward Lao. What about you, Master Lao? My evenings have been peaceful. No dreams of the past, the present, the abstract or the macabre. Just dreams of go. We've been on this earth for a great many years now. Some have been good, some bad. But all the things I'm most grateful for, it's your good company and our games of go. You keep calling Lao Master, even though he's younger than you. What's up with that? Let a group of old men keep their secrets, and maybe after a dozen years and twice as many Go games, we'll tell you. For now, know that he has earned our respect many times over and leave it at that. Take care, old coots. We'll be seeing you. Okay, fine. We'll also talk with Reliable Matthew, because he's our buddy, he's our pal. Reliable Matthew stands in the middle of his barge. The downpour has scoured the barge, but otherwise everything seems to be surprisingly intact. Most of his drones are still present, even his balloons still float sluggishly. As always, he's grinning, languid, and frayed around the edges, like a primped debutante sweating out a quart of alcohol from the night before. Good morning, beautiful. Welcome back to Robot Paradise. How did your balloons survive a typhoon? He holds a single index finger up in the air emphatically. Science! They're full of aerogel. Love those lead in their solids. Nice. Ah, right, yes. Picking up a loose washer, he flicks it at a balloon. It bounces off it with a low thunk. Nice, nice, nice. Your drones seem to be mostly here. I'm a lucky sort of guy, what can I say? Guess people were just trying to take care of themselves, not taking other man's stuff. Any thoughts about what happened? Something happened? Oh, it was a wild night. Real wild night. What a time. Good times. He looks around intensely, looks up at the walled city for a moment, shudders visibly, and turns away. Later, Matthew. Here's looking at you, Ranneko. Come by any time. Oh yeah, one thing, Ranneko. I decided to branch out. Tell Ambrose I'm not going to be one person anymore. I'm going to be a lot of people. All sorts of good folks. Huh. Branching out on the Beatles, I guess. Interesting. Okay. Now, kindly. The commotion from the streets of Harare bleeds into Kindly's mahjong parlor. Triad soldiers bustle to keep up with their boss's orders. Couriers come in regularly, whispering to our lieutenant before listening intently and running off again. As you enter, Kindly is giving instructions to Stranglabao, who nods enthusiastically. She looks over at you and holds up a hand. Wait. And send Wong and Ho to snatch some of those medical supplies off the relief trucks. With all the excitements, no one's watching them at all. She nods to herself, grimacing in satisfaction. There'll be a big black market for them all over the next few weeks. Good thinking, Mrs. Jiang. Bao lifts a finger to his ear to transmit orders. When he sees you waiting, he inclines his head a quarter of an inch. Ranneko, I figured you were dead. Last I heard, my soldiers had found you, and everyone was heading into the walled city. Then things got out of control. Where are my people? What the hell happened? We got separated in the walled city. Found out later they were killed. Is that how you treat my resources? They died for a good cause. It had better be. They were expendable, not unlimited. Well, they knew the risks. They had a shot of moving up, and they missed. Forget them. I've got bigger problems, like customers and tenants streaming out of the walled cities, screaming for their lives, like HKPF and those Sang security shitheels swarming the place. Now tell me what happened in the walled city, or do I have to get in a settling talk and ask nicely? A new tenant tried to move in, the big, bad, terrifying kind, from another dimension. What kind? A Yama King, Qian, the queen with 1,000 teeth. Never heard of her. But I do know the Yama Kings. My grandmother used to scare me with stories of them. I guess she thought she was teaching me something by scaring the shit out of me. She chuckles softly. I remember one of the Yama Kings, specifically. Fu Meng, the servant of the setting sun. Oh, yes. Fu Meng promised wealth and influence for those willing to do what was necessary to take of it. The story of Fu Meng spoke to me. All he asked in return were 44 hearts pulled from the chests of those closest to you while they were still alive. Hearts from random victims wouldn't do, so those who took Fu Meng's bargain would befriend others before taking their hearts, turning their entire network into a list of victims. Yes, Fu Meng spoke to me, but I didn't listen. My apologies, Mrs. Chang, but one of the men you sent in with the runners in the walled city is still alive. He stumbled into Wong and Ho as they were pulling medical supplies off of a lorry.
At least one came back alive.
Our man says that Wong Lun Fat is dead. He got shot up by HKPF inside the walled city. Bao's head lifts his head, making eye contact with the tribud. He's almost salivating with avarice. Our man saw it with his own eyes. That sounds good. Does it make up for your dead soldiers, Auntie?
It wipes the slate clean, my darling. Oh yes, you see, he was my superior in the Yellow Lotus, a 438. He was also a pig. Tell our friend Ranneko what that means, Mr. Bao, and say it slow so I can savor it.
The death of Wong Lun Fat has opened a spot for you to move up, madam. You could be the next 438. Bao smiles. The effect is chilling. The gods help those who seize opportunities.
Mr. Bao, put every man we have on this. Spread the word. Kindly Cheng says all debts to the Yellow Lotus are suspended for citizens of the walled city until order is restored, and no interest will compound either. Tell them I have medical supplies, and there will be no charge for them until the crisis is over.
Things seem to be going your way, Auntie.
They do indeed, my sweet. I may not have brought Josephine Tseng down, but I have got my career going again. Your career too, Mr. Bao. You'll be my new straw sandal. Good partners support one another.
You have proven that, Mrs. Cheng.
This calls for a drink.
The soon-to-be 438 pours 2 shots and the stink of kerosene stabs your nose like switchblades. She hands a glass to Bao, touches it with her own, and holds it there.
Your loyalty and clear-headedness have proven you immensely valuable, Mr. Bao. You're an effective ally, and I wish you great fortune and wealth.
They down the foul substance in one gulp. Looks like you two are moving up in the world.
Yes, and it appears your fortune is changing too. Remember, you have a mysterious benefactor, one who lifted the APB.
Have any idea who that might be?
I don't have a clue. I must admit, that bothers me. It must be someone powerful. Can't imagine it was Josephine Tseng. After all, what would have her motivations be? It's got to be someone else.
One of Josephine's enemies on the Executive Council?
I'll tap my network, find out if I can. But that's for later. I'm missing an entire piece of your story. What happened at Prosperity Tower? Did you rescue Raymond Black? Did his mother wipe his memory?
It was a hell of a fight, but we beat Tseng security. Got Raymond before she could finish.
Impressive. You've become quite a runner, Ranneko. While you were in Prosperity Tower, did you find any incriminating data on Josephine Tseng? DUT. Something I can use?
Just the data. Something we can use. Financial shenanigans that'll hurt Jo Tseng with the Exec Council.
Yes, Ranneko, this is your victory too. We will be the instruments of her destruction. We're gonna hurt that woman.
The triad boss pulls out a credit stick and tosses it to you. The number on the data readout is big, more than twice the payout of a single Shadowrun.
With this, Tseng's days on the Exec Council are numbered. Bao, it appears our fortunes have truly changed. Our partnership has become quite enriching, Ranneko. To my new #1 Shadowrunner, may our partnership continue to bear fruit.
To the beginning of something big. Kindly Cheng watches you drink, smiling her serpentine smile. Then she downs her glass in one swallow and licks the rim.
Now before I get back to business, I must know, how did you go from rescuing Raymond Black to the walled city vomiting people?
Ray built a machine in the walled city. It accidentally summoned the big bad thing, and that's when everyone ran.
If the demon summoning machine was accidental, what was his machine supposed to do in the first place?
I don't know. Kindly's eyes narrow, but her mouth curls into a smile. She moves on with a shrug.
Well, this business certainly proved lucrative for me. I'm in a prime position to be the next Yellow Lotus 438, and I only lost 4 men.
Say nothing.
You've made quite a splash since arriving in Hong Kong, Ranneko. Many Shadowruns completed in a very short time. The reports from our clients are glowing, mostly.
You can add closing the door and a demon goddess to the list. We made a difference.
Perhaps for some. For a while. Listen to me, my sweet. When I was a girl, there'd never been a pandemic like virus, but in 2010 it happened. We'd never seen death like that. A quarter of the world's population disappeared. It was miserable, pushed us to our limits, but the survivors moved on. And then the spike babies started appearing, and the dwarf babies, and suddenly there were dragons and goblinization and magic. And every time the world got used to it. So if a demon goddess decided the walled city was her new living room, and you didn't
whatever you did, what would have happened? Perhaps the news would cover it, but until the next sensation pulled their attention away. After a while, it would be drowned out by all the other crap competing for our attention. And the demon in the walled city would have become the new normal. Well, the new normal is the walled city isn't under magical influence anymore. Congratulations! The poor can return to their misery with no interference from magical machines or big bad things because of you. Now let me give you a piece of advice for the future, my sweet. Something Mr. Cheng used to tell me. Respect ghosts and gods, but keep away from them. It sounds like you almost lost your ass in the walled city. You best listen to that. Oh, so there is a Mr. Cheng. There may have been many Mr. Chengs, my darling. None have lasted long. Now get some sleep, Ranneko. You look like shit. Tomorrow we'll talk about this future. Maybe next time you could... maybe next time you could just say I look like I could use some sleep. I'll work on that, my darling, but not today. Today you look like shit. But what's the status on those medical supplies? Go to bed. Okay, so now would have been our opportunity to go and chat with people. It's been a good run. The scene on the Kraken is quiet, save for the sounds of eating. Raymond and your crew are crowded around Govett's electric hot plate. They hold bowls of soup in their hands. You recognize the smell. Chicken-style soy broth, elbow macaroni, tinned ham, and a heaping scoop of egg-flavored mycoprotein. Raymond eats heartily. Maybe the first meal he's had in days. I thought you were all going to bed. We remembered we figured we'd hang out a while. No one could remember the last time we ate. Well, besides, no one could eat anyway. Still pretty amped up. Got a lot to process. So we've been eating and talking. Shouldn't you get some sleep, Ray? You've been through hell. I'm afraid I am still in hell, Mr. Nguyen. Like Duncan, I need time to process all that has happened. I have lived with a profound guilt for 20 years. Coming face to face with my victims have made it all the more acute. What's next for you? Back to Seattle? No, my life is here now, I think. Helping the people of the walled city to recover. Finding a way to undo some of the damage I have done with the fortune engine and her. Hard to believe we defeated a god. Demon god, from another plane of existence. Hard to believe that Josephine Tsang is going to remain untarnished by this whole thing. 20 years of misery, 20 years of suffering, for tens of thousands, hundreds maybe. It's the way it is, the way the world works. Powerful play their games and little people pay the price. She'll see justice someday. She has to. But one thing doesn't add up for me. Why was Josephine Tsang so intent on shutting us down? Why wouldn't she? You saw what she was responsible for. No, think about it. The HKPF snipers, the plastic-faced man, all the resources she put into capturing Ray and hunting us down. I mean, she's already covering our tracks with that illegal drug lab explosion, right? Why not just let Ray do his thing and cover it up afterwards? It doesn't add up. I believe I have an answer. I noticed it again when I saw the fortune engine. A module attached to the machine, one I didn't design. Module? A siphon. Mother was stealing it the whole time. Cast off positive key from the walled city, leeching it for her own benefit. That is how Sang Mechanical Services rose so quickly, from the minor company my father built, to the powerful corporation it is today. It's how she got herself on the executive council. She was creating her own luck. Not creating, stealing. It'll be interesting to see what happens to our company now the fortune engine is shut down. Maybe we should send her some four-leaf clippers. She might need them. So, what now? And maybe what to trade anything on? There's always something on, but I say we bag it and get some sleep. Especially you, Ryan. You look like shit. Why does everyone tell me that? Alright, thread, Stormwake. Breaking news, report attached. In Usagi's wake comes relief and rebuilding. Today, Hong Kongers begin to assess the damage of Typhoon Usagi. We already know that we were lucky. Heavy rains from the storm's periphery caused minor flooding throughout Hong Kong, mostly due to clogging or overwhelming the runoff control system. This morning, an aerial survey of the mountains has counted at least 100 new active landslides. The Victoria Harbour pump arrays successfully maintained harbour level near normal despite very heavy runoff. At peak operation, the Energy Authority instituted mandatory blackouts in 60% of the zone, presenting the most severe test of the pump system in years. Almost no wind damage was reported thanks to moderate winds. 7 corporate citizen fatalities have been reported. Relief operations are underway to assess the impact to unregistered population. Total unregistered deaths are forecast to be less than 10,000. The Wuxing environmental officers issued a citizen advisory warning to all ordinary persons to avoid contact with the storm-driven mud due to high levels of toxic runoff. The Executive Council has expressed gratitude that Usagi has been a minor event for most of Hong Kong. However, the Security Subcommittee already reports several hundred cases of vandalism, looting, and incursion. We go to Captain Crate, Special Duties Unit, who has received a unanimous promotion for valiant work to protect Hong Kong's unregistered citizens during the storm. Unfortunately, Hong Kongers know well the pattern of anarchist and criminal elements using natural disasters as an opportunity for exploitation. Joint corporate and HKPF special duties teams are fanning those throughout Hong Kong to bring those criminals to justice. I am pleased to announce that the Security Commissioner has vowed to swiftly punish crimes which occurred during Usagi's passage. Any such crimes will be prosecuted as infractions of both zone security and of human rights. Cases will be tried before a special tribunal. Beyond the Free Enterprise Zone, extreme winds and major flooding are reported across the section of coast where Usagi is sent across shore. States of emergency have been declared in Guanghaizen, Shangshaozen, Pingshaozen, Megaplex, and numerous coastal communities. There are unconfirmed reports of major casualty incidents on the executive island of Shangchuandao. Click on our PDA notifier for breaking news updates on this story, including exclusive casualty footage. Brutal. There's a lot hiding between the lines. I expect White Prism to be posting on this. White Prism and Amanita are currently whereabouts unknown. They vanished? They're dead? I don't know. Get used to it. Over the next couple of days, we're going to find out a lot of people are missing. Holy hell. Not holy hell. Typhoon season. Welcome to the Cull. Check out this headline. Just out. Meth factory accident during typhoon kills thousands in World City. For real? That stuff's terrifying. Check this newscast out. An accident in illegal crystal methamphetamine factory in the Walled City slum sickened or killed thousands of people during the passage of Typhoon Usagi. Incident created mass panic in the tightly confined labyrinth of buildings. The release is presumed to be related to typhoon damage. The hydrogen chlorine gas that was released from an industrial-scale superlab was being operated by the so-called Yellow Lotus Organized Crime Syndicate. It combines with moisture to produce hydrochloric acid, chemically burning the respiratory systems of those who breathe it. Death is typically by asphyxiation. A civil response team from Sang Mechanical Services responded to the event, destroying the factory and providing medical treatment to survivors. Sang has not yet released an official estimate of casualties. Sang CEO and well-known philanthropist personally spoke at a press conference. As long as we allow yeah, we had kind of this stuff before. Better future, First on our analysis panel, we go to economic survivor analyst Jonathan Chow. He's trapped at home by storm damage and enjoyed display audio only. Dr. Chow, are you there? Are you and your family all right? Yes, thank you. We're all fine. Although, let me tell you, my gardeners will have their work cut out for them. Dr. Chow, getting down to business. What is your assessment of this announcement by Ms. Tsang? This is typical Josephine Tsang antics. She's spending resources and risking lives of a response team trying to help the very people who shelter and patronize this kind of drug production. This week it's a meth lab. Next week it'll be a beetle factory solvent spill. The week after that, more riots. When do we say enough is enough? Mrs. Tsang should be exercising her fiduciary responsibility to her shareholders, not hand-wringing over people who won't help themselves. What a dick. Okay. That was cool and all. Now let's start. We'll go bottom to top. Catch up with Gaichu first. Gaichu is in the process of cleaning his cabin as you enter. Using a small hand broom, he sweeps dust and debris about in small piles. On sensing your arrival, however, he pauses. Ranneko, it's not every day one can say they fought an ancient god. And one. It is an unbelievable story. Wish we'd had the chance to take care of Josephine Tang too. Do you suppose it would have made a difference in the long run? So long as there are humans, there will be the powerful and those they exploit. I'm certain that Josephine's death would please you on a personal level, but someone else would simply fill the void she left. Yeah, maybe you're right. The thing is, the things we accomplished in Walled City with Qian, these are the important things that people will remember. They will never know who saved them, why, or where they disappeared to, but they will remember what we did long after Josephine Tsang's name is forgotten, a forgotten gasp in a rotting book. There's a poetic beauty in that, I think. Gachu looks slowly around the room, sightless eyes focusing on nothing in particular. After a moment he looks back at you. I'm afraid this cabin will need a lot of work before I can truly call it livable. But I suppose I will have to do it to learn to love living in filth. That is, if I'm still considered a part of the team. Your affair's here and done, and so I was unsure. I'm not leaving any time soon. I'll let you know when we got more work. Excellent. Then I will get to cleaning. If you need me for anything, well, you know where to find me. Rakta eyes you impassively. He wears an easy smile, but his eyes are as cold and unfeeling as Koshei's senses. Well, my friend, quite an evening. We fought and treated with an extra-dimensional entity, prevented her from nesting in the walled city, and shut down a machine that was twisting fate itself. A rather impressive list of accomplishments, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I'll take it. Yes, my friend. Yes, of course you will. So, what's next for you, Rakta? Well, remain here in Heoi, of course. This place is perfect for my needs. I can easily acquire any of the materials I may need, and with your help, I may have acquired a certain level of proficiency at evading the police. This will be a testbed for the future of our species, the birthplace of a new life form, and I will help to usher it into the worlds. So, you know how that sounds, right? And you know what I am, what I can do. You will be here beside me when the time comes, yes. Yeah, I'll be here. Good, very good. Be well, my friend, and rest while you can. There is more looming on the horizon than you could possibly dream of. Okay, I did say top to bottom, but actually it'll be bottom, top, mid. Like a good punch combination, but also because that actually reduces map transitions. Okay, so, Gubbin. How's it hanging? As you enter Gubbin's cabin, you find her sipping from an enormous mug. Something dark and steamy slushes as she lowers the vessel. Her rats squeak happily from their perches on her shoulders. That was a hell of a thing, wasn't it? We fought a Yama King, and we won. I'd say it's time for a celebration. Or maybe, yeah, I'd say it's time for a celebration. Got anything to drink around here? Sure do. If you think I'm breaking it out tonight, you're crazy. I'm exhausted, Ranneko. Don't think I can keep my eyes open for much longer. If we're going to celebrate our victory in style, I don't want to pass out at the 10-minute mark. You must be tired too, to be frank. Don't even know how you're standing. Endurance. It's one of my many virtues. Yeah, sure it is. Go endure in your cabin. We mere mortals need to sleep. See you tomorrow, no, right? I mean, you're not going anywhere. It's phrased as a statement, firm and final. Yeah, Gubbin. I'll see you then. Yeah, right. Good. I'll see you then. She hesitates for a moment, and then the corner of her mouth tilts up into that old familiar smirk. Yeah? Sweet dreams? Nice. Nicely done there. Isabel looks up at you, a troubled expression on her face. If she found any peace from your victory in the walled city, she isn't showing it. Well, we did it. Kenyara's gone, and we'll never have to set foot in the walled city again. I guess I don't need those memories anymore. Well, you haven't needed them since we got back, so why haven't you deleted them yet? I don't know. I want to, but something's holding me back. It doesn't feel right, somehow, and I don't know why. Look, if you delete those memories, you'll just be doing to yourself what Josephine Tsang was trying to do to Raymond. She says nothing, just stares. A moment later she nods. Yeah, that's what I'd be doing. Changing my past through omission. Rewriting my present by doing it. I think it's a form of self-mutilation, kinda. It makes me uneasy. But they're ultimately your memories, Izzy. Do what you want with them. You have no one to answer but yourself. Yeah, I know, and I want to make sure I can live with whatever decision I do make. I'm thinking maybe I'll sleep on it. I think that's a good call. It's been a big day. Yeah, a bit. You can probably use the rest too. Good night, Ranneko, and rest well. You've earned it. You enter to find Wu setting up a little nest on the floor of his cabin, using an old tarp for a blanket and a duffel bag for a pillow. Before you ask, this is for me. Raymond gets a bunk. Raymond looks around the cabin with some apprehension. He sniffs the air and his nose wrinkles. This is where you live? It has its own unique charm. We call it the Kraken. Kraken, yes. Charming. I'm sorry that you had to follow me, had to go through what you did, live like this to help me. Forget that. You've lived with enough guilt for one lifetime. He's right, Ray. Don't know what sort of justice you're looking for, but coming here alone, facing Qian, I was wrong, little man. You're no coward. I still can't believe what you did to her, the way you stood up to her. I did what I had to do. Maybe so, but you were very clever. Even after all this happened, I still find it hard to believe that Mother did those things. What exactly was she doing to your brain, Duncan? We know she was altering your memories. One memory. Just one. She was going to make me believe that my fortune engine never worked. That my theory was wrong. And that's why she cancelled prosperity. It was the smallest, simplest change she could think of. The most believable. What would have happened to your memories of living in Seattle? Would it wipe out an entire history together? Too complicated. I would still go to Seattle and run away. He looks over at Duncan. But it would have been because of my lust of face at having failed in front of all my subordinates instead of... He lets the thought drift. Lucky thing for us that you did come to Seattle. Wu smirks at you, flashes his pearly whites. Well, maybe not Ryan here. He's had a harder road than me. So I understand, Duncan. Duncan says that you were in prison for a long time. I had no idea. No, you just figured that I ran out on you. That I did it after all you did for me. It's true, that's what I thought. I misjudged you. I was wrong. Did that really just happen? Did Ray say he was wrong? Yes, he did. Thank you, Raymond. Raymond takes your hand and shakes it. The hand feels frail, like it's made of pigeon bones. It appears we both have gaps in what we know about the other's past. I want to take the time to fill them in. For years I worked to help you have a strong sense of self-identity. Wanted you to know who you were, live a genuine life. Perhaps because I was living a lie. Now that you're much older, have been through so much, I must ask, who are you? Do you know? Ranneko. I'm a Shadowrunner. The old man says nothing. He simply takes you in. Your clothing, your equipment, a sadness slowly appears on his face. Wu gently drops a hand on the old man's shoulder. Okay, Raymond, you need to rest. Tomorrow I'll take you to see a guy named Ambrose. He may be able to help you with that stutter. He looks from his foster father to you. A twinkle appears in his eye. Then maybe we'll get dim sum together, like we used to, the three of us. I'd like that. Dim sum sounds good. Let's see how I feel tomorrow. He rubs his stomach, lets out a little burp. Goblet soup does not agree with me. Raymond sits down on Wu's bunk slowly and closes his eyes. A moment later he begins snoring softly. I don't know what to think about him anymore, Ryan. I really don't know what to think about all this. What's next for you, Duncan? I mean, after dim sum. Oh crap, I don't know. It's too late to think. Probably just do what I've been doing since we arrived here. Follow your lead. Now get out of here. I've got a date with the duffel bag pillow. And with that, I believe we have completely finished Shadowrun Hong Kong's main campaign. Go to sleep and end the campaign. Yep. You drop your head onto the pillow and haul the rough naval blanket over you. The Kraken rocks like a cradle, and moments later you're wrapped in the comforting arms of sleep. There are no nightmares, only shadows. And yeah, This is the story of the walled city riots circulates the news networks for nearly a week. Few outside of Hong Kong hear about this incident, and of those that do, even fewer care. By the end of the month, the city is back to business as usual. In Haoi, the flow of refugees eventually flows to a trickle. Those who do escape tell the stories of a terrifying demon goddess finally driven away by one old man and a rabble of outsiders. Their mad ramblings are generally met with pity or contempt. After the incident in the walled city, the unbroken lucky streak that propelled Sang Mechanical Services into the limelight comes to an abrupt end. Evidence of Josephine Sang's culpability in the walled city riots, as delivered by a reliable source, is aired on the Horizon News networks, and the corpse stock prices go into a freefall. Within a year, Wuxing Incorporated buys out, absorbs, and dismantles the company. Josephine Sang is quietly filed away in a corporate prison. She remains there, buried by walls of concrete and rebar, until she hangs herself 3 months later. Haoi remains a safe port of call for smugglers, gangsters, and Shadowrunners alike. You are no exception. The shadows here welcome you in a way that Seattle never did. You've earned the respect of your fixer, your clients, and your community, and now the APB on you and your team has been lifted by parties unknown. You're free to operate openly in Hong Kong. The place is yours. Your home. And there we go. So, yeah. That was Shadowrun Hong Kong. That said, there's a reason why this says extended edition. There is a piece of post-campaign content. Don't know how long it is. I assume it goes into a bit more about your mystery benefactor that lifted the APB on you. And that's what we're going to go into next time. And we'll play through that as well. I really like this game. I like all of the Shadowrun games. This one is and I think over time they have gotten better. I like that this one isn't about a world-ending threat, whereas the last two basically are, right? And you still have the same build-up. Like, you're going from 0 to 100 in a surprisingly short time. I have literally, in the post-campaign DLC, I will be unable to improve my core skill set, which is kind of silly, but kind of cool. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do next time. Obviously, it's interesting to have taken the XCOM 2 AP setup, but then fundamentally change it, right? So firstly, you got varying AP cost actions in this, and also there are no turn-end actions. So you can fire then shoot, you can shoot then fire. Once you get 3 AP, you can start doing really silly things, which is why XCOM doesn't let you do that, by popping around a corner, shooting, coming back. But I like that you've got that power progression that the extra AP gives you, so yeah. It's fun. And I'll see you next time.